Hi everybody, Steven and Loki here. This is Steve, that's Loki. In this video, we're going to cover how to upgrade your VMware Cloud Foundation from version 5.1 to 5.2.1. So stick around and you'll see the process. Bye for now. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to upgrade my VMware Cloud Foundation from 5.1.0 to all the way up to the newest today, which is 5.2.1, I believe it is, right? I'll walk you through the process. We're not going to do the offline bundle, so we're going to do the online version, I guess. I'll probably do a separate video showing the offline bundle at one point. Before we get started, I always like to throw this out. For those of you that supported the channel, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. For those of you that are new to the channel or watch the videos, please support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. It's the only way, again, YouTube compensates us content creators. And without subscribers, there's no content creators. So please hit that subscribe button. Also liking and sharing, those help out quite a bit with the analytics. And last but not least, I do have super thanks enabled. Totally up to you. So why don't we get started? All right, everyone, let's get started. I'm connected to my sddc manager. You'll see I have one management domain here. I don't have a virtual infrastructure domain. Here's my management domain. When I click on that, you'll actually see, again, I've got some edge clusters over here. Under services, you'll see I got my vCenter server. I only got, I have my NSX manager, or my NSX manager cluster. It's only one node. If I click on updates, give it a few seconds, it comes up and says the view available updates authorized VMware customer connect account. So I basically have to go in and specify. Now I could do an offline one. I'll probably do a separate video on doing the offline bundles. But when I go into here onto Online Depot, right, you'll notice it's not configured. So I need to configure this. I'm going to need to gray this out so you guys don't see that. So here we go. So I'll enter the information now. You guys won't be able to see that. I'll hit authenticate. And it should come up as successful authentication. And I have my account here. You'll see it's active. I'm going to gray out my account name just so people can't try to hack in. That's basically about it. Now, when I go back to my workload domain here, I go back to my management cluster, under updates, come on, you'll get, again, we got rid of that little message here, but notice it says, okay, in progress updates. I don't have any updates. It says this domain's on the latest version of Cloud Foundation. Well, it hasn't downloaded the manifest files yet. Now, again, I could do that manually with an update bundle. I'll probably do a separate video on it, right? But again, if I just kind of go into, let's go to Lifecycle Manager, release versions, you'll see right now I'm at 5.1.0. That's where I am right now. But you don't see anything about 5.2. We have to wait a little while for it to download the manifest and then kind of take it from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this and then we'll come right back. Actually, before we do that, you can actually see over here, so my ESXi is 8.0.2. My NSX is 4.1.2.10. sddc manager is 5.1.0. And then my vCenter server appliance 8.0.2. So when we do and it shows you the builds over here. So when I'm done with this, all this stuff here should be updated. But let's wait and see once this thing catches up. Okay, so we're back. This took about 5-10 minutes. You can see now under the release versions, we do see 5.2.1, and we do see the version that I am currently running at, right? Just adjust my microphone. And you'll see here, again, the builds as before, right? So we actually see this under bundle management here. Again, you'll see a list of various bundles and patches and whatnot. So I'm going to go back to my workload domain, and I'm going to select the workload domain. I'm going to go to updates, and there's nothing to pre-check against because it's not showing anything. Now notice up here, this is grayed out, plan upgrade. This domain's on the latest version of Cloud Foundation. Hang on a second. No, it's not. To upgrade to a newer version, hit plan upgrade. There we go, and it just kind of changed there. So it took a few seconds for it to kind of kick in, but I got to wait for that to download the metadata. So I'm gonna actually click on plan upgrade, and then from here we'll let it do its spinny little thing here. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm doing an upgrade. I'm going to tell it to download and then do the upgrade, right? So let me select my version, 5.2.1, and it'll show you over here the SDDC manager currently is at 5.1.0. There's its build number, and there's the target and build target. Then the ESXi host is at 8.0.2, the build, and then the target, and so on and so forth. There's NSX will go from 4.1 to 4.2. The vCenter appliance is going to go 8.0 update 2 to update 3. And I'm not sure why it's showing Lifecycle Manager here. It might be residual effects, because I've been actually having issues installing it. I'll do a separate video on that. Anyways, yeah, this looks good to me. Oh, by the way, unable to verify compatibility for the following products. Check the product documentation. Certain things it's going to check is like hardware compatibility. It may not have the latest version of that hardware compatibility list, and you may see some issues here with that. I should run into an issue again doing the hosts here, but we'll see what happens. Okay, there's more information on how to disable that on the SDDC manager. Again, if it's a showstopper for you, but I'm just gonna, again, you may want to read that. I'm going to click on confirm, and at this point, come on, here we go. So you see my source is 5.1.0, and I'm going to go to 5.2.1, okay? And it's refreshing the bundles right now. I'm going to give this a few seconds. Now, available configuration updates. It says configuration updates may be required after you apply software updates. Once a configuration update becomes available, you can apply it immediately. Notice there's a little configuration update here on a ESXi host edition drift here. What this is if VMware comes out with a new version of VCF, they may have made some changes to their required or suggested configuration. Maybe the name of a switch or something like that, okay? And that may be listed in here, and you would say, yeah, I want to apply these all or not. I'm not going to worry about this until my update's done. So anyways, so right now we see that here it is, and I can say schedule a download or download now. Now, I'm going to hit download now because this is going to take a little while, right? Like I said in my video here, I'm actually doing, I'm telling it to download and then apply the updates. In the real world, I would probably download those bundles in advance. I could do it offline if I wanted to, or I can go into bundle management and then select the bundle over here and say schedule or download now, okay? So again, I'm just kind of doing this for the video here, just showing you kind of the simple way of doing it, but in the real world, I would have probably downloaded it first, so I didn't have to wait that extra time, and then do the update. Okay, let's go back to my workload domains. Let's go back to here. Let's go back to updates, and it's going to. So notice it's scheduled right now. So download has been scheduled. This is going to take a little while to kick in. All right, so I'm going to basically pause the recording, let it download. You don't want to see this thing download. And then, actually, no, I'll probably just speed this up. And here we go. So it'll take a little while for it to do this. Hi, everybody. Okay, so as we can see here, if I scroll back up, you can actually see I've got the schedule update. Now, what I've done, this took a little while. So what I decided to do was do what I told you folks you should do. Download the bundles first. So if I go back into bundle management over here, you'll see I downloaded a bunch of these bundles, the upgrade bundles. And it took a bunch of hours, to be honest with you. A couple of them failed, had to retry. But anyways, you'll see there's other bundles here, install only, install only. This one here is for vCenter server. This one here is for NSX. Those bundles, is from what I understand, gets used when you deploy a new workload domain. So if I go to deploy a new workload domain, it'll make sure it's at this version. So if you don't plan on deploying workload domains, you may not need to deploy these bundles. If I go to show more, there's again install only. This is again vCenter 803. There's a patch here for 803 as well. So I just downloaded the main update ones, right? And if it needs something, it'll actually download it afterwards. So let's go back into here. Let's go back into workload domains. Let's go into my management workload domains. Go to updates. And I probably should do a pre-check on this. Kind of a good idea to do that. I could just jump right to schedule updates, right? Let's do a pre-check, okay? I'm going to probably get a couple errors here. That's okay. Let's click on that. I'm going to select my target version. Notice it's not showing me anything here. Give it a few seconds here. I find it takes a little while to kind of kick in. There we go. It just kicked in. I can do a general upgrade readiness. It checks for certain basic things. Have you done backups and that sort of stuff? Or you can get more specific and say, well, I'm updating to this version. Let's just check and make sure. I'm going to do more of a specific pre-check. I'm going to pick that one there. And then from there, I can actually look at all the different components it's actually going to update. Okay. So it's going to check anyway. So I'll click on run pre-check, and you'll see that this thing's just going to kind of gurgle for a while. And you'll see it jump from 0% to 40%, and then 60, and then all the way up to 100. So this is going to take a couple of minutes to run. So I will probably speed this up. Okay, so we see that it's actually done its pre-check, and let's scroll down here. You can look at all the errors or look at all information. I'm just going to look at errors. If I go into my vCenter here, you see it's looking at backups. So there's no backup. I didn't do a backup. You should. Under my host here, you'll see that there's vSAN SCSI controller. It's basically saying that this is not a certified SCSI controller for vSAN. And then let's look at the sddc manager. It tells me about this vSAN hardware compatibility list. Database is outdated. This one here, I'm going to ignore these errors. This one here, this vSAN one, I'll show you what's going to happen if I don't fix this, and I'll show you how to fix it. But you're going to have to stick around for that. All right. This one here is a bug from what I see. Okay. Comes up and says, hey, your vSAN database is out of date, but technically it's not. If I actually go to my vSAN server, it gives you a warning if it's older than an error if it's older than 90 days. So it's actually, it's giving me an error over here saying it's older than 90 days, and it gives you a warning if it's older than I think it's 20 days or 60 days. But if I actually go to my vSAN, go to configure vSAN update, you can see it's 23 days ago is the current one. Release creation date was about 0 days ago, right? If I actually just go release update, this is actually a bug. Let me show you something that I found here. And you could take this knowledge base article if you want to, and it talks about how you can kind of get around this. So here's the article number. You may want to write that down. Okay. And then from here, it talks a little bit about this exact error. And it tells you kind of how to get around with it by modifying the database. I'm not going to bother with it, okay? So anyways, you can read that on your own if you want to, but they're saying it's something you should resolve. I'm just going to leave mine. Let's go back into my workload domain. Let's go to... All right, that was somebody knocking at the door. So we're back at the workload domain here. Let's go back to updates, and then over here I can schedule an update. Now let me just show you something. So far I'm going to be going from 5.1.00 to 5.2.1.0, and if I look at the bundles applied, let's go view bundles. You can see it's going to do the sddc manager first, the NSX manager, the vCenter, and then the hosts. Okay, so right at the very beginning, I'm going to close on that. Let's go back to here. Let's go schedule update. And I'm just going to basically say, let's not schedule update. You can schedule it if you want to. I'm going to click on update now. So I click on this, and it basically makes a schedule to do this right now. I got to give this thing a few seconds to kind of refresh. That's what I find that it normally does. Okay, so here we go. In progress update. I got to give it a few seconds to kind of get caught up here, right? And you can actually see it's scheduled. Upgrade bundle. If I go view bundles here, again, this thing will refresh. I just have to wait. All right. Let's give it a few seconds here. So you can see here, actually, it just popped up and it shows me the update, right? So it sees it's updating, shows me again the sddc manager update process. this is probably going to take a little bit of time, right? So I'm just going to let this run, and we'll just kind of take it from there to see how long it takes to do this, all right? So I'm going to probably, yeah. So as we can see, this has completed, and that's it. So that was successful. Let's click on finish. It's probably going to get me to log back in. It took a little while to do this. Okay, so let me log back in. Okay. All right. So it's been updated. I'm getting this new guided setup thing here. That's great. Let's go into workload domains. Let's click on my management domain here. So the screen looks a little bit different here. And I click on updates. And you'll actually see step 1 of 4 is done. Let's view the details. So the sddc manager has been updated to 5.2.1. We now need to do the NSX manager. Let me close this. Let me now let's go to configure update here. Oh yeah, sorry, got a little sidetracked there. So the upgrade bundle for NSX 4.2.1. So let's configure the update. This is upgrading. It's a 2-step process. Update specifies the update options. Pre-check runs are automatic. Once you finish the configuration, pre-check runs on the selected cluster to detect any potential incompatibilities. After reviewing or remediating the pre-checked results, if needed, you can then select the cluster to update. So we see it's going to do my edges, my hosts, and then some upgrade options. So let's click on next. It says all edge clusters must be upgraded before upgrading the host cluster, right? So I can say upgrade only NSX edge clusters, or I can say enable cluster selection. So I'll basically this here, if you only want to do the edge cluster and maybe do the manager later, that's probably when you're going to select this, and then you're going to maybe pick and choose which one you want. I don't care. I'm going to say do it all in one shot. So I'll go next. Now it's asking me, do I want to update all clusters that are enabled to NSX, or maybe a custom selection? I only got the one cluster, so it doesn't matter which one I pick here. So this is my management cluster. I'm going to pick next. Upgrade options. Enable sequential upgrades of the edge clusters. Enable sequential upgrades of host clusters as well. Other words, do you want to update everything sequentially, or do you want to do them one at a time? One at a time would probably be a little safer in case something craps out. It's not going to affect other things. I'm going to roll the dice, okay, folks? I'm going to tell it to do update all of them. Update mode maintenance, place the host in maintenance mode during update or in place. Select this option to avoid placing host in maintenance mode during an in-place upgrade. Host might experience a packet drop or workload. So do you want some kind of downtime here? I would probably have scheduled a maintenance window here, to be honest with you. You know what? I'm going to leave it in place. Why not? Let's just let it do that, and I'm going to go next. And it gives me my summary, and I'm going to go run pre-checks. Okay. Now this is probably going to take a little bit of time to do all the pre-checks. There we go. No recommended pre-checks available. Run. Okay. View upgrade configuration. So I got one NSX host cluster. I only got one NSX manager in my cluster. That's how I deployed it. So that's fine. So you'll see here's my host cluster. And then up here, cluster check started. Okay, whatever. So we got to wait for this thing to kind of finish its little thing here. So we'll give it a few seconds, maybe a bit longer than that. Okay, so the pre-check is cleared. Again, found no issues. I can schedule my update or cancel it. I'm going to click on schedule update. I'll go through. It gives me a kind of a summary over here. I'll go next, and it's saying, do I want to do it now or do I want to schedule it? Schedule it, you pick your date and time. I'm going to do it right now. And I'm going to click on finish. And then again, it kind of churns away and does all this stuff, right? So again, I can actually notice here's the schedule. It's been updated. We just have to wait a few seconds for this thing to kick in. I'll probably just pause it and come right back. Okay, so I can view the configuration here. Let's view the status, and we can actually now see we have some stuff that's queued up. This is going to take a little while. Again, I'm just going to probably let this run, and then we'll kind of just take it from there. It looks like it's about 9 gig in size. This may take an hour or so or more, to be honest with you. So I'll probably just let this run for a bit, and maybe speed it up a bit or whatever. Okay, so NSX upgraded successfully. I recorded that. That took about 2 hours to do, to be honest with you, in my lab environment. My lab environment's not really the slowest, to be honest with you, so you're going to want to plan for this. It did the edge cluster and stuff. If I actually click on view details here, you'll actually see. So sddc manager took about half hour to 45 minutes. NSX manager, again, took about 2 hours to do. And then now the next thing is to update the vCenter server, right? And then from there, it'll update the ESXi host. So let's close this. Let's go to, so this is applying the vCenter server update 3C patch. I'm going to click on configure update. At this point, it talks about the upgrade mechanism. So the first one here is if I want to upgrade it with minimum downtime, I can actually use this method here, or if I want to do a regular update, right? What this one does is a migration-based upgrade process. It says a target instance of vCenter is brought up, all configuration is migrated over, and services are switched over during the maintenance window. It says this upgrade significantly reduces downtime to about 5 minutes, right? So that sounds pretty good. So it makes a copy of a vCenter server. So it's going to create a VM, and it's going to copy over the other one, and then basically spin it up. And it says about 5 minutes downtime. I'm just going to do a regular one because I don't want to have to spin up a new vCenter and all that. Let me actually notice over here when I select this one, talks about talks about temporary network and stuff. If I select this, you see it's a little bit different. So I'm just going to pick the regular upgrade. Perhaps I'll do a video on this newer type migration upgrade for vCenter. But anyways, let's click next. Now it's asking me, I have a backup. Basically, you should be backing up everything before you do any of this stuff, folks, right? So I don't have a backup, but I'm going to say I wish to continue without a backup. I would never do this in production. I make sure I got a good backup, probably 2. I could schedule it for a certain time, or I can say do it now. I'll say do it now. Here's my, my summary. I click on finish. And we got the churning wheels. Now I find that this takes a little bit of time just to catch up, to refresh and stuff like that. So we'll just give it a few seconds here. right? And then everything should catch up. We should be able to check the status of this thing. So, come on. Let's click on view details. It still hasn't started yet. Again, I'll probably just pause this, and once I see it, then I'll probably bring it over. Okay, it just refreshed, and I can now scroll up. I can now click on view status if I want. I'll click on view status, and basically you see it churning away. So let's let this do its thing. It's probably going to take, by the time it does the update, then start up vCenter, probably looking somewhere between 30-45 minutes, I would imagine. All right, so let's see what's happening. Okay, so I'll let this run. Okay, so we're back. That took about an hour. It did fail, and it came out with a weird error saying it couldn't proceed with vCenter in a invalid state. If I actually go into my, what is it? Actually, I want to go to my update history. You'll see, okay, here's my vCenter update. It was successful here, but here it failed, right? I can look at the view details, and it says update failed, elapsed time about an hour, which is about right, okay? I can open up the task. Actually, if I go into here, open this up, you'll see it failed over here during the upgrade. If I open a task panel and I click on this, expand the task, it does, come on, let's get this a little bit bigger here. Says, tells me to contact support, not too helpful. It says, it came back with an error that it failed to install the update. The appliance was in an invalid state, apparently, right? All I did is I let it clear. I checked the appliance. The appliance was up. Looked like the update went through, but maybe sddc got confused, right? Let me just kill this. And I just reapplied the update, and then it took, you can see here, let's exit the status. You can see here, this one, it was successful, right? If I view details, you can see it took about 4.5 minutes. So it did apply perfectly, right? So let me kill this. Let's get out of here. Let's go back into update, and we'll see if we go into here now. If I view my details, my sddc manager's updated, NSX environment's updated, and vCenter server's updated. Last to do is the host update, right? And I've already downloaded the bundles, right? So if I didn't, it would prompt me to download the bundles. So let me configure the host update. It says update in the cluster with baselines is a single stage. Step process update can be scheduled. I'm using baselines here and not images. The reason why is because 5.1 had an issue during your bring up process. If you had images enabled, it basically failed. So I had to say use baselines. So I just left it at this. I'll probably change it a bit later. But anyways, let's see what happens here. I'm going to click next. Ask me what cluster I want. I'm going to say all. I only got the one. It's the management cluster. I'll go next. By the way, if I had multiples, I would do my upgrades on my management domain first, and then workloads domains afterwards. Okay. I'll go next here. Am I recording? Yes, I am. I'm going to say upgrade now. Upgrade options, enable quick boot, sounds good. Migrate powered off VMs, suspended VMs, sounds like a good update. Enable sequential cluster upgrade. If it's able to do this, I can select this. Means upgrading multiple hosts, but we don't want to validate HA admission control. So I only got 4 hosts. It's just going to do it one at a time. So what the heck, let's just do it. I'll click next. There's my current version, my update options. I'll click finished. And then at that point, this is probably going to come back with an error. All right. So let's just wait. Again, usually this kind of waits a little bit. And then we can see the status. Give it a few seconds. I find it may take about a minute or two. Then this update so I can look at the status. So I'll just pause the recording now while we're waiting for that to come up. Okay, see at the top there it says upgrade process successfully triggered. Wait for the confirmation or commencement confirmation to appear in the screen. So that's what we are waiting for, and it looks like it came up. It took about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Just click on view details, and it's showing. Oh, actually, sorry. Let me exit that details there. Okay, and oh, there we go. View status is what I want. So we'll click on view status, and it's going to update my hosts, right? So it's got everything queued up. It's going to do one host at a time. It's probably going to fail, all right? So let's watch this fail, and I'll show you how I fix it. It better fail. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. But anyways, update failed, elapsed time 1 minute. Okay, on host 4, if I select this, VMware stage pre-check, I could tell you basically if I go here now, and if I go into here, I don't know if it's giving me the check the vCenter health warnings. I'm in a nested environment. It's looking at the SCSI controller and saying that's not a supported vCenter controller. Let me go into here. Let's go into my vCenter cluster. Let's go into monitor. Let's go into Skyline Health under vCenter. And you see over here, again, it says the controller is VMware certified. That's the category or the alert. It's not certified. This is why it's giving me this type of thing. So, or this type of error, right? Performance service, it doesn't really care about that. It's this controller here. I can say silence alarm. I'm going to silent the alarm. I'm going to say yes. Give it a few seconds. Okay, so now it's silent. Let's go back and do it again. Remember when I was doing my pre-validation or my pre-check? It did come up with that. That was way back when for me, but for you guys, that was probably a few minutes ago. So I could have fixed it then, but I decided to show you the error now. So let me go back to here. Let's get rid of this. Let's exit status. Let's I gotta wait. I gotta give this thing a few minutes to get caught up. Notice over here it says it's failed. All right, so gotta give it a few minutes to get caught up. It'll refresh over here, and then we should be able to continue on again. Okay, so that took a little bit more than a few minutes to come back up, but it finally refreshed. It came up here, says reconfigure the update. So if I click on reconfigure, again, just follow the same steps. All clusters are going to say upgrade now. Upgrade options, I'm just going to enable this. Yep. And I'll go finish. Hit finish. And there we go. So again, as normal, you got to kind of wait for this thing to gurgle a little bit before you can actually see the status. And what it should do is it should update each of my hosts. So it'll put one of my hosts in maintenance mode. So when it's in what's called enter maintenance mode, it's not quite in maintenance mode. When it goes into enter maintenance mode, distributed resource scheduler set to fully automated, it will migrate any VMs off of that host to other hosts in the cluster. It will then put that host in maintenance mode. At that point, it will apply the update, the patch update. It will more than likely bounce that server, and then when it comes back up, it'll remove it or exit maintenance mode, and then it'll repeat the process with the other 3 hosts. Okay, so this should take a little while to do. Let's go to my vCenter and see if there's anything going on over there. Nothing. So this stuff takes a little bit of time. Like I said, I wouldn't be in a really big hurry for this. Few details. It still hasn't kicked. Okay, so it sees it's doing this one right now, the bundle. I just have to wait for this interface to get caught up. Okay, and there we go. I can now view status. Okay, so click on that. And it's got the 4 hosts. It's in progress on host 4. So let's go back to here. We see it's scanning entity, import image. So it's doing a few things, okay? I'm just going to leave that alone and let's let it run. So see you back at the end of this. Hi everybody. So we are back and we can see it's updated okay now. Let's exit the status here. And looks like everything was okay. And we're pretty much done. The only thing I need to do is apply these available configuration updates. What the heck? Let's apply these configuration updates. I'm going to click on apply all. Configuration started. Please check the upgrade status, right? So let's hit view details. And it's applying advanced options to the host and then register the SDC. I would imagine this is not going to take too long. So leave that run for a bit. Well, that was pretty quick. It only took about a minute or two just to apply these new configuration updates. If I go back to updates here, you'll see at the top, there's no updates that I need and everything's looking good, right? So if I go to update history, you'll see again when I look at the host updates, if I look at the details, mine took about 45 minutes or so, right? So on an average, my SDC manager took about 25 minutes, the host. Then after that, it was the NSX, which took the longest, it was 2.5 hours. Then the vCenter server, which took, actually I'm not sure, probably about an hour, right? Let's clear that. Let's look at the vCenter server. Yeah, the vCenter was about an hour, and then this last a little bit here again was about what, 40 minutes or so, right? So not too bad. Now I did this one after the other. This is pretty long. I would probably suggest that you in production obviously do backups, utilize snapshots as well. So backups plus snapshots, right? And I would probably do this one at a time, starting off with the sddc manager, right? Make sure that's updated, make sure everything's good. Then when you get onto your NSX, depending on your environment, how many edges you have, you may want to update just some edges first, and then after those are all updated, right? Depends on if you got multiple edge clusters, then update your management cluster, okay? Then after that, the vCenter server is usually a pretty straightforward shot, okay? I had a hiccup in mine, and then after that is the host, so usually a pretty straightforward shot as well. I don't think I'd do these back to back on one day. I ran into a few issues, but I'm in a lab environment. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave comments, questions down below. Actually, let's go back to, first of all, let's go back to release versions. I am now at 5.2.10. It will not, it only shows me this. Notice here, and then it says 5.10. There's 0. This one is showing me 1. It will only show you that when everything, all the components are updated, right? So again, if I go back, but that's it. So if you found this helpful, or even entertaining, just hit that thumbs up for me. Support the channel by subscribing. It's free. Click on that subscribe button. And I think that's it. Leave comments and questions down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.